Welcome to episode 55 of your source for comic book news and culture. This is Variant Edition. Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nick. Man, Kevin's been busting his ass and getting us back on schedule. I think we put out like 4 episodes last week.
Yes, we're getting back on track. Kevin, how many episodes did we put out this month?
10.
Nice.
Too bad we just still don't have those New York Comic Con episodes up yet.
Come on, guys.
Sorry, we promise they are coming, but be on the lookout for my interview with Tad Stones from the New York Comic Con next week. We talked about his career in animation and all about Hellboy.
Oh boy, is that coming out on the new DVD coming out soon?
Yeah, Blood and Iron comes out June 12th, so also expect our review next week.
That's right, we got to see it at the New York Comic Con.
Alright, enough teases for next week, it's time for reviews. So I'm in the shop the other day, and I'm like, what's looking good? I see this cover. It's got dinosaurs eating dinosaurs with the giant spaceship on the cover, and it's called Alien Pig Farm 3000. Of course I'm going to pick that up. It looks crazy. And the dinosaurs didn't really have a big part, kind of a letdown, but the story seems to be going really cool. The gist of it is, apparently there's like this alien ship that crashed on Earth like millions of years ago, back at the time of the dinosaurs, and now it's like current day, and some hillbilly who was like with his half-brother, who were running from the cops, he stumbles upon it because like he screwed up something. He was trying to blow up his still or whatever, and he fell down some cliff and ran into this giant spaceship. So he's checking it out, and I like the issue. I mean, it's the first issue. Nothing else much really happened besides, these guys running from the cops in a kind of clever way to block a tree behind them. Nice. And, the introduction of the spaceship in modern times, which was cool because, the inside of the ship, the guy's going in there, and I've been noticing this a lot with artists. The character's in one room and it has like a lot of these like tubes of like other dead alien species, and they're kind of really faint, but if you look at them, it's just like, there's Predator, there's It Conquered the World, they even had a robot monster in there. It's really nice that, a lot of artists in the comics like to just put those little touches in there. It's cool. And the comic itself, I don't know where it's going with the aliens. I mean, when the alien comes out at the end and kind of like scares the crap out of our character, you can tell that these are like the warmongering, bloodthirsty types of aliens. So I'm looking for a nice, somewhat invasion. I hope they don't try to do like this like alien zombie thing, because that would just be like redundant with all the other stuff that's out there. But I like the first issue. Definitely going to check out the second one. If you guys want something strange with hillbillies, crashed flying saucers, and cops, check it out.
Alright guys, second review for the week, issue 11 of Justice. And as I think I've been the only one to review this consistently on the show since I think the beginning. If you're not reading this book, visually speaking, this book is stunning. It doesn't matter that, there's almost a splash page for every, fight scene or even just a dramatic moment. The art in this book speaks for itself. On top of the story, which may be hindering on some old themes from old books from, same creators, but it's still a great story. And I think there's a page inside this issue which kind of gives away, I think, this is my opinion, the time frame the story takes place, which I think is pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths, the first Crisis, because there's a nice little page where the Teen Titans show up, but it's not our Teen Titans, our current Teen Titans. This is the first Teen Titans lineup, which consists of Dick Grayson as Robin, Wonder Girl, who at the time is Donna Troy, Wally West, who is Kid Flash, Speedy, Roy Harper, not the new Speedy, and I believe who was the last one? Not Raven. So it was those 4 core characters. It was the first line of the Teen Titans. Oh, and Beast Boy, who was also known as Changeling back in the 80s. So Changeling. So I think this is definitely pre-Crisis, and it's really cool. So there's the official stamp on it from me. So the overall plot has been revealed as the whole villains uniting and creating this utopia for the citizens of Earth was just pretty much a big front for Brainiac to create, by the way, I just set off all the WMDs of the entire world and, everything's going to blow up. This is all just a farce just to get you guys, out of the way really quick. So that's been revealed. Aquaman's son's been kidnapped in the midst of all this, and during the fight, there's a fight scene with Scarecrow, I believe it is, and he's turning the people of a certain nation against each other. So now the JLA are kind of caught in a sticky web because they can't really defend themselves without killing all these civilians. So that's a really interesting predicament. And just like I said again, there's this dramatic moment between Shazam and Black Adam, where it's just the fight scene in this issue comes to a really climatic, point where Billy has the potential of killing Black Adam for once and for all, and he wouldn't do it, but it gets pretty extreme because he starts, for one, Black Adam got drained by Parasite, so he's almost powerless. So Billy starts grabbing him, starts choking him without knowing. And Black Adam's begging him to kill him because he refuses to die, at the hands of, being weak at his great adversary. Instead, Billy's like, just say the word, and this will be the greatest defeat you'll ever feel. And by that he meant to say Shazam, so Black Adam can revert back to his skinny, frail self, which he hasn't been in DC Universe since, like, I don't know, a really long time. So that's like the ultimate slap in the face of Black Adam, to be reverted to this puny mortal, this ungodly person who has no power and nothing to defend himself with. So this book again visually stunning. The story's getting ready to hit the conclusion. One more issue left, and I can't wait to see how this ends. It's gonna be really great. You gotta pick this up.
X-23 Target X, number 6 of 6. This is the end of an arc. This was an amazing story, and Target X kind of lets you know in advance that Wolverine as Weapon X is going to eventually be X-23's target. And sure enough, it is. She spends days sitting outside of the Xavier Institute, kind of, trying to get Wolverine alone, waiting for him to, show a little sign of weakness, then she's going to take him. And he leaves the compound because he gets, he catches her scent. So he goes out in the woods, they have a little bit of a fight, and one of the most interesting things in this book, I think, was that mid-fight, she kind of realizes that they keep healing. So she starts grabbing handfuls of dirt, so she slices and then throws in a fistful of dirt so that Wolverine can't heal back up. All of his wounds just stay open because the dirt, they can't close around the dirt. So he's just kind of bleeding out, and he's like, smart kid, real smart. And then these shield helicopters show up, and they start shooting at them for like no reason. Just all of a sudden it's like, oh, we followed Wolverine and we got Target X-23 on our sights, and we're going to just take them both down at the same time, but really just want X-23 because we can use her as a weapon. Or at least that's what Matt Murdock kind of figures out in the little interrogation process. Laura's mom sends a letter to Logan, and, she had a copy, but it got all full of blood. But it basically says the mother's taking responsibility for everything that has happened with X-23. And whereas Steve Rogers is like, no, I'm going to be a good soldier and take this back to S.H.I.E.L.D., Matt Murdock's like, no, you can't. They're just going to use it as a weapon. Don't you understand? She's just a weapon in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s eyes. And Captain America's just like, I don't care. I'm going to bring her back. It's my job. And he's on his way back to bring her back, and he decides to stop at a Greyhound bus station and puts her on a bus to go back to Xavier Institute so that she can hang out with Wolverine and probably have, her first chance at a real life, outside of knowing everything that she knows already, which is kind of stupid because she joins the X-Men and starts fighting Sentinels and robots and everything else. But that's besides the point. It was just kind of a nice little Captain America being a nice guy, disobeying orders because he sees us as actually, more in life than just, being a S.H.I.E.L.D. operative getting weapons for the government. Great story. If you guys haven't picked this up or read it, I would highly recommend it. It's a great X-23 book, great Wolverine book. If you're into Wolverine, you'll probably like X-23. Pick it up. Great read.
Alright, so we got another zombie comic. It's called Raise the Dead. Stole that from Kevin, but whatever, I'm going to use it now. So, Raise the Dead. Really nice covers by Arthur Soydam. Taking that whole Norman Rockwell thing. You got Uncle Sam on one. You have a nice, zombie diner set up in issue 2. Issue 3, they got, rip-off of the Nirvana cover. Whatever. But, really nice covers. And it kind of leaves you there once you go into the comic. It's generic as all hell zombie story. Kind of nice how the story starts off where you're, bam, smack in the middle of these people trapped in this diner, and there's zombies everywhere. It was kind of cool because the only way that you caught up was by little flashbacks by different characters, which is nice, but give me something different. You know what they do? They stay trapped in this diner, figure out some plan, get a gun from kids, and then decide, yeah, we're going to take a van. No, not a van. A bus. And we're going to drive to this, government facility that this chick used to work at or something. So the second issue, it's them in the bus, going to their place. And, oh, there's roadblocks. Oh, look, there's a guy who wants to ride. Let's slow down and give it to him. Oh, he got taken by zombies. Just keep driving. It's very generic. Nothing really to go on about. If you're like a diehard zombie comic book collector, get it, if only for the, really, really nice covers. But other than that, you're not missing out on anything if you pass this by on the shelf.
Alright guys, issue 9 of Justice League of America, part 3 of the Lightning Saga crossover with the Justice Society of America. And in this book we got the overall plot coming together, which is revealing why the Legionnaires are in the JLA's current time / continuity, because they're from the 31st century. We're in pretty much standard DC time, which is like, I guess, our time, technically speaking. So in the previous issue, you saw Dream Girl had said that she revealed that to Starman, who's nuts by the way, kind of funny, that one of the Legionnaires was going to die because of this mission they've been sent on, which looks like to be a recovery mission or a rescue mission, which doubles as a suicide mission, because it's later on revealed that when Timberwolf has been revived and they say the secret word to whatever it is to snap all the Legionnaires out of the state they're in, that they're all tranced out, that he reveals that it's actually a suicide plan, that all 7 Legionnaires that have been sent back to revive, I think Brainiac, because they keep saying Brainy, or someone of like a big magnitude. So it's a suicide mission. All of them are gonna die, and they pretty much have known this for a while. And the JLA is just like confused as to what's going on, because they don't know if this is a good thing, if this is a bad thing. There's really no architecture of what kind of plan they should be using for this. So, and also in the issue, you see, I think the 3 plotters behind this whole scheme are revealed. I'm not sure who they are, because there's a lot of history to the Legion of superheroes. Like, if you know your Legion stuff, there's probably a 90% chance you know what's going to happen or what's going on and who's involved, because a lot of history there, a lot of revamps. But the book is going really great. I'm enjoying the art. Bendis is back on, and this is going to be a really interesting story. I like to see where this is going to go, and it's kind of entailing what's going to happen in the future of the DC universe, because you got these future characters, dabbling in the past technically with our current DC heroes. So I really like it. I like where the story's going, and if you're reading JSA and JLA, you got to pick them both up.
Silent War number 5 of 6. I was really enjoying Silent War, and I still kind of am. I think maybe it just lost a little bit of a charm for me. They're going back to Black Bolt's like crazy, insane brother or like cousin or whatever, and he's got this octopus thing in his head. I didn't really get that part because, well, I don't know the whole Inhuman backstory. I wish I did. But the main chunk of the story is that the Inhumans are going to the Pentagon to rescue their Inhuman buddies who were arrested in New York. And, Gorgon's all a big monster thing now. They want the crystals. They want the Terrigon crystals so that they can get back to... Because humans aren't supposed to have it, and there's reason. There's a doctor in there who's all, like, falling apart, literally, on himself, and it kind of shows you that we as humans can't use the mists, because we're just going to die, is basically what's going to happen there. But yeah, so Black Bolt, distraction on the outside, fighting the mighty Avengers, who still have Iron Man for some reason, but okay, I guess you guys didn't read the other ones. It's fine. Meanwhile, inside the Pentagon, you got a lot of people running around. You got, this guy who can shift between dimensions and get past all the shielding on the Pentagon to free his Inhuman brothers, and then take the crystals from the doctor and then retreat, get out of there. And they all teleport out, and then Black Bolt teleports back in and kind of just whispers, and destroys a big chunk of things. And Iron Man... Oh, and the other thing that's really important to mention there is that Sentry is kind of flying back on this fight, saying, like, I can't get involved. If I get involved, he's going to yell. If he yells, we're in for a lot of trouble. So I'm just going to stand here. Meanwhile, everyone's like, yo, Sentry, get down here and help us out. You got to stop him. Only you can stop this guy. So you have to. And he's just like, no, it's cool. Hey, Clock, what are the averages of winning here? What's the percentage? And that's basically what Sentry's doing for this whole book. I'd like to see a Sentry Black Bolt, throwdown, but maybe it'll happen in the next book, maybe. But yeah. So, interesting story, kind of to me at the moment. It's kind of just a filler page. I knew this was going to happen, and you don't have to pick this one up to get the whole story. Unless you're like a completist and you need to know everything that's going on, pick this book up. If you're not really into the whole Inhumans, Terrigen Mists and Crystals, don't bother. You don't have to read it.
Alright guys, Fall of Cthulhu issue 2. My last review was of issue 0, and apparently we can't find an issue 1, so I said, you know what? That sounds a little mad. That's kind of like how Cthulhu would want it, don't read this issue. Some junk. I'm trying to rectify. It ain't nothing. We didn't have it, so what the hell? I'll review issue 2. This guy, Sai? Lame name. Is that like his uncle's funeral? Because his uncle went mad because he was like some anthropologist or some junk like that, and he started studying the words of Cthulhu. Honestly, this issue is just a bunch of nothing. The guy's girlfriend is like a really big bitch. Like, I don't know why he's with her. She's like, just change the oil? And he's like, no, but, oh, you didn't change the oil. We got nothing to talk about. I'm like, damn. Whatever. Honestly, that was pretty much, most of the issue that I gathered from it. Aside from the fact that, like, this guy is in college and he works with these people, and people are starting to uncover different parts of the Necronomicon and different words from Cthulhu and all this other crap. And you got cultists trying to bring about Cthulhu. You have cultists trying to stop Cthulhu. I don't know. And the end of the story, like, they end it, I guess, at another funeral? And it just kind of ends, and it's something about roses or something. Roses and women? I don't know. And then it goes to our character in, like, another dimension, I'm assuming, because it's, different art style, which is, I actually liked it better than the majority of the art in the comic. But he goes to this place, and there's, like, a bunch of weird chicks chilling. There's, like, this green chick with this really big mouth talking to him about how there's some people trying to stop the Call of Cthulhu and all this other shit. Honestly, I really don't know what they're doing with this. I'm honestly going to stop reading it. Unless if I really, really need to do a review for a week and I got nothing, I'll pick up another issue. But my advice is pass it.
Alright guys, here's your bullet points for this week. A lot of books have been coming out lately, so here's a quick roundup of it. Avengers Initiative Issue 2. Recently, the first issue saw, a great start. We saw a potential recruit to fill in the shoes of Captain America or, become part of the new Super Soldier Serum, axed in at least the last splash page. This story looks really good. Issue 2 picks off with the seeming death of Hank Pym. Not true at all. This book is going to be really good. I can't wait to see where it goes, and the art is just great. Next book, you got Thunderbolts. Again, on my top 10 books for this year. You guys got to read Thunderbolts. Steel Spider is being hunted by the Thunderbolts, and it turns up ultimately into this little team-up book where there's another unregistered mutant walking the street, and American Eagle, this weird Cherokee, superhero, comes by too. And so it turns up to this, 3 heroes against the Thunderbolts now, and it's just going to get really good. It's just a really big fight issue, and I can't wait to see where it leads in the next issue. After that, we got Ultimate Power Issue 5. You saw the climactic end of the last issue. Now we pick up, this is all fighting. All the books I've read so far have just been fighting. Thor having his Norse Asgardian ass handed to him with his own hammer by Hyperion. Johnny goes Nova, doesn't put a dent in Hyperion. Nick Fury hiding secrets from the team. Cap knows it. He feels it. Spidey being an idiot. It's funny. This book is going to be so great, and I can't wait to see what Bendis does and what Straczynski puts on the last touches in the finale of the series. And lastly, Supergirl. Her origins just been revealed, and it seems to be apparent that her father was the destroyer of Krypton because he had created this jail which jailed all these weird murderers of Krypton, and their souls became phantoms, and they escaped the Phantom Zone or whatever, and they were possessing the people of Krypton. So now somehow they made it onto Earth, and she's got this weird implanted crystal in her body, which takes the phantoms out. So now all the heroes of DCU have been infected, and she's trying to save them all as fast as he can. But the overall goal that her father wanted is to kill Clark. So it's going to be really good to see where that goes, because we all know, and we've seen in previous issues of Superman, Batman, she is stronger and faster than Clark. And that's your bullet points for this week. We'll see you guys around for the next time.
And if there's one thing I can always count on for being great, it's Elephantmen. And Elephantmen number 9 does not change that in any way. It was great. Granted, it wasn't so, I wouldn't say epic. It wasn't like action-packed. It didn't really unravel any more plot or anything. It was just Hip Flask going about his day. Not even, in the precinct or whatever he was a part of, like being a detective. It was him buying groceries. They went into this big thing. It's just like, I don't know, his thoughts or something, or like some third-party narrative. But it's just Hip Flask with, his broken leg because he had the fight with the crocodile guy. And he's walking, he's like, oh, I'll never bite off a crocodile's tail again. Unless he really deserves it. And it's just him going on about crap. But it shows him, struggling through the city. And it goes through, like, what he was bred for, what he was made for, what he has done before. It goes into, like, all these amazing things that he's done. These different wars, these trainings, how he's walked through deserts of like 140 degrees and been through like frozen tundras at like negative 50 degrees and all this other crap. And they're like, and his biggest challenge today is shopping. And it's just so good. It brings such humanity to these characters. I mean, this giant hippopotamus is going to the store and he's got like these two little like punk kids who have like a little red wagon with all of his vegetables in it, and they're just like helping him. And it was just so good. You feel so much for these characters. And, you know, they go through the park, and there's, like, some tree branch or whatever that he was going to go fix, and they find this baby squirrel, and then he puts it back with the mama squirrel and all this crap. Just very, very, very nice, touching things. It goes from such the extreme of, like, what Hip Flask was created for, and how he was, like, the product of Mapo, and now he's just, like, his own person. And another great thing about this issue, it goes into, like, character, because the reason why he still has to go shopping, and you know, they didn't let him have, like, aides to go do it like he wanted. They said, oh, it'll help you build character. And it goes into, like, all these little subtle touches about, you know, what, like, a kind and gentle soul Hip Flask is, but, you know, when he needs to get things done and needs to do the right thing, he'll do it. And there's an amazing scene in here where there's a truck driver in the street who, like, has a heart attack on, you know, one delivery, and the two kids that were following Hip Flask were, like, in the street while this truck goes past a red light, and Hip Flask just jumps right in the middle of it and, like, stops it dead in its tracks, and the truck goes, like, everywhere. It's just all bits and pieces. And, you know, he breaks his cast. It's just, like, you know, one of those things. He was being such a kind, gentle soul, but these two kids were in danger, and he just had to, bam, stop this big-ass truck. It was so good. Definitely pick up number 9, and if you haven't been reading Elephantmen, read Elephantmen. It is such a good read, and it's above and beyond everything else that's out there in comics. It's not, you know, rehashed stories. It's not like, oh, well, in the movies they did this, so we gotta do that. No, it's brilliant. Pick it up.
She-Hulk number 18, from the whole Planet Hulk War, World War Hulk thing going on. You don't have to necessarily pick this one up. If you're a completist, by all means, but we all know that She-Hulk knows that they launched Bruce Banner into space. This comic is all about how she found that out. She's got a Nick Fury robot head, and she's hacking it with the help of the kid with the coyote, but she doesn't know that he's helping her at that point. It's this other guy who might be a robot that she doesn't know about, and there's other stuff going on in this comic. I don't read She-Hulk. I don't know about these characters. I don't care about the characters. But She-Hulk finds out by hacking a Nick Fury bot brain that they're going to send, you know, Bruce Banner into space, and the Hulk's going to smash something, and then he's going to be launched out into space because they're not going to bother to bring him home. Starting the whole Planet Hulk thing. You don't need to pick up this comic, but if you're a completist for the whole World War Hulk thing, definitely pick it up. It's interesting, but not too interesting. It's kind of an iffy comic. She-Hulk's just not for me. If you guys are She-Hulk fans out there, I'm sure you have it. If you don't have it, pick it up if you're a completist. Alright, that's it for Variant Edition.
While this episode might be over, we've still got plenty of Variant Edition out there. Every week, Variant Edition brings you the best that comics have to offer, and we've been doing this since February of 2006.
So we know what we're doing. Every Tuesday we take 5 minutes to give you what you need to know when you step into your comic shops on Wednesday. Then, later in the week, we have our half-hour episode with reviews and interviews, and every other week it's Variant Edition, the discussion.
Our most recent episode featured our opinions on Spider-Man 3. Head over to our forums and let us know what you thought.
So right now, that's 3 different Variant Editions, but that's not all. We've got more Variant Editions coming your way, including some new formats. But we can't talk about those just yet.
Yeah, but what we can talk about is that the weekend of June 15th to the 17th, it's Wizard World Philadelphia. And all of us in Variant Edition will be there covering the convention in force. So if you see us on the show floor, come over and say hi.
Just check to see if we're filming first.
Yeah.
As always, there are quite a few ways to watch us, including iTunes Video, YouTube, Google Video. But if you want the best video and the quickest downloads, head over to variantedition.com.
Well, that's it for Variant Edition. Thanks for watching.
And we do some dancing.